This looks like somebody who doesn't even go to the gym.
An embarrassment to Arnold's son, to Arnold, to his family name, and not only that, to anyone. So if anyone ever had a physique as bad as this in the world, they should be embarrassed. Coach Greg, in today's video, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son competes for the very first time. And how does he do? Well, amazing. He actually wins it, but what are the people saying? What are the news channels going to report? Well, of course, they're going to say that bro sucks donkey balls, that he's ass, that his physique, it's admitted best, that he looks like an off-season bodybuilder, and that he's an embarrassment to his father, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Other people are going to say the same thing as me, that he looked great. Bro is natural. And so the way that I see it is that people are so brainwashed by social media, by guys blasting hella gear, that they don't know what it looks like for a guy to actually compete natural. And so this is Ivan's take on Joseph Bena's first ever appearance, of which he won the overall.
Arnold's son, Joseph Bena, wanted to compete at this show without having a whole bunch of drama around his name.
And so let's take a look at his physique.
This is a terrible physique. This is a shit physique. I'm sorry, I'm using that language. I almost never use it, but in this situation, I absolutely have to. This should not even be on the stage.
I mean, tell me you dislike his physique without having to actually tell me. A terrible shit physique that shouldn't even be on stage. What is he looking at, Mr. Mike? I don't understand how you could put down a natural competitor in his very first competition this bad. Has he ever seen a natural competition?
This is embarrassing, not only for Arnold's son, but for anybody.
An embarrassment to Arnold's son, to Arnold, to his family name, and not only that, to anyone. So if anyone ever had a physique as bad as this in the world, they should be embarrassed. This is a 99.9% physique. If you have this physique, you look better than 99.9% of the population. I'm not making this shit up. Would I lie? Do you think I'm buddies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm gonna brag up his son? No, I'm just telling you what I think. And so here's the thing. Almost every single one of you watching this has a way worse physique than this. Now, there are some of you watching this with a better physique than this, and I applaud you. You're doing amazing. And guess what? 90% of you are on gear. There, I said it. And so you take out the gear, take out the steroids, the peptides, the SARMs, take all that away, and what physique do you have? And those of you who actually are natural, props to you, and I bet you're trained to have a physique like this. I bet you one day aspire to look like this. Now, yes, there's the 1% genetic phenoms out there who even without steroids can beat this man. But that's 1%, it's not a lot.
I prepped a whole bunch of natural competitors. Every single one of them wipes the floor with Joseph Bena, wipes the floor with him.
And what percent of those natural bodybuilders were actually natural? Hey coach,
Thank you.
I want you to train me, I'm natural. How many times have you heard that, but they're not actually natural? I've prepped people who had other coaches coaching them natural, and they were literally buying their PEDs for me. And so you don't think that I know that some people are actually cheating, that they're actually lying? And so when you look at this physique, understand this. For being natural, this is extremely good.
I don't know if this guy dieted at all, or if he even trained for this show.
Is he in fact 5% body fat on stage? No. Is he single digits? Yes. What percentage of people do you think walk around at, let's say, 9.9%, 10% body fat? Almost no one. Maybe one in a couple of hundred. And so if you look around in the real world, most people are not 10%. Most people are not 15%. Most people are obese. Most men are over 20% body fat and oftentimes 30s and 40s. And so if you're at 10, you're very close to being in contest condition at the elite level. Now, is he an elite bodybuilder? Is he a natural pro? No, he competed one time.
If he has even 1% of his father's genetics, he should look 10 times better.
That doesn't make any sense. 1% of something and you're 10 times better, that means you'd only have to have 0.1% of his genetics to be equal to him? I mean, what are we saying? That for some reason he should be 1,000 times better than Arnold if Arnold were actually competing. And so if we reincarnate Arnold, then he would be 1,000 times better than Arnold's former self. Remember, Arnold was blasting gear as a teenager, and so how are we even comparing him? Now, is this guy on steroids? No, he's natural. If he was on steroids, he would look significantly better. And then we would be making videos saying, hey, bro followed in Arnold's footsteps, he's on gear, he's not as good as Arnold, and so why bother? That's probably what people would be saying.
Good look, man. This looks like somebody who doesn't even go to the gym.
I mean, this is a wild statement. He doesn't even look like he goes to the gym. I mean, honestly, it probably was 2 years before I would have beaten this guy as a bodybuilder. When I was 18, I certainly wasn't going to be better than him. Maybe when I was 20, I would have competed and I would have been able to beat him. But I trained for 10 years. And so to say this is what average people look like who don't go to the gym, I mean, what is Ivan bodybuilding? Is he a female? Is he a woman? That is the woman's standards. Oh, bro, you don't look good. You're a 2. If this is the standard of what you look like as a man without going to the gym in your off season, then no wonder people don't compete. No wonder women keep swiping left.
Who does some push-ups here and there, who never does any squats, who doesn't do crunches. You can see his ribs here.
And so bro just does a bunch of cartwheels and push-ups and went on stage. This is what he's saying.
And he's not like 15 years old. I don't know what his age is exactly, but he's gotta be over 20.
I mean, it's not like he's 15. I mean, if he had as a 15-year-old, maybe if he was 16, he'd be aight. But for being in his 20s, he's definitely mid.
I'm criticizing him harshly because if you want to compete on the stage, man, and you're so popular, you have a huge social media presence, hire a freaking coach if you don't know how to diet.
Here's the thing. Considering he won his class in the overall, what does that say about every other person who's natural? Do they all suck as well? Do natural bodybuilders just avoid going to the gym? Is that what he's saying? That they just do cartwheels, push-ups, and calisthenics, and they don't diet, and they're all mid? Every single bodybuilder competes?
Anybody can look better than this. Anybody.
People that have great genetics or above average genetics, and they watch somebody else do something, they think, well, that sucks, I could do better. And so because I can do better, everyone should be able to do better. That's not how it works. If you have amazing genetics, you can look better than this. If you have below average genetics, you will never look better than this. I don't care how hard you try. If you just don't have the cards for this, you're never going to do good. It's like saying anyone who goes to the gym consistently for 10 straight years with a proper program, they could bench press for sure 315 pounds. This is bullshit. Most people training their entire lives, trying harder than last time, cannot bench press 315 pounds. Well, how do I know this? Because I'm not as stupid as whoever thinks that they can.
This might come off as mean and maybe unnecessary, but again, it's the truth.
It's his opinion. Even though it's wrong, he has the right to say it, but I have the right to correct him and show him the way.
I absolutely do not see a point in natural bodybuilding at this low level.
Bro doesn't see a point in natural bodybuilding, especially at this ultra low level. So only gifted natural guys should compete. So Coach Greg probably shouldn't have competed natural until I was at least 30. When I was near my peak, at that point, I had a physique worthy of being on a natural stage. Once I was one of the best, if not the best natural bodybuilder in the world, at that point, I could think about considering getting up on stage. This is ridiculous. If you want to compete natural, you should compete natural. You shouldn't feel embarrassed. You shouldn't believe that people are going to bully or shame you for just looking a certain way, that you don't have the same size and conditioning as the guys that are on steroids. I think this is a bad message. Remember, I like to promote natural bodybuilding. I like to think that people can do this without steroids, that you can compete and not be at 5%. In fact, I don't encourage people in their first show to compete at 5%. I'd rather you compete a little bit less shredded so that you can experience it with some joy and happiness, not hate your life. And if you really love the sport, you can then compete again, maybe get a bit leaner next time.
So he won men's open bodybuilding in the heavyweight class. He won first, men's classic physique true novice first, men's classic physique novice first. And for the open class C classic physique, he was second. So a successful outing.
And so he won 3 different classes in natural. He didn't actually win everything. He won perhaps the natural overall, but not the open class overall. But he still won 3 out of 4 events. That seems to be very good.
You think about the fact that having arguably the greatest bodybuilder of all time in terms of their overall impact on the sport as your dad, the shadow that must cast, especially on his sons.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, imagine, we just listened to Ivan Bodybuilding saying all these horrible things about Arnold's son, saying how much he sucked and so on. And so, yeah, you get up on stage, you're Arnold's son, and people have the bar set here. And so anything below that, you suck. If it was just a normal guy, of which this is how I'm judging him, I'm saying He's at 99.9%. He looks better than 999 out of 1,000 men.
You know, it's a big shadow that Joe is in competing in a bodybuilding show being Arnold's son. And so the expectations are going to be really high.
I mean, I'm watching him do this most muscular, and almost all of you would say there's no way the guy in the center is natural, and almost all of you would say the guy on the right, which is Arnold's son, is natural. The guy on the left, you're probably thinking, yeah, he probably could be natural. Now, all can be natural. Is the guy in the center and Arnold's son impressive? Yes, they have great looking size. They're actually somewhat lean. They're not completely out of this world shredded to the point that they look like Sam Sulek, but Sam Sulek isn't natty. You guys do not see the difference.
Because Joe's in his mid-20s. Arnold started competing as a teenager. So after that, obviously, Arnold wasn't natural anymore.
I mean, his back is pretty peeled. His back looks lean. His legs could be a bit leaner, but he's still lean. He's not fat. He's not off.
I think it's really commendable for Joe to have done this natural show, and I think also it gives me an opportunity to spotlight natural bodybuilding on this channel, which I feel like I don't get to do enough, because there's really not a whole lot that happens that's exciting in natural bodybuilding.
What he's saying is correct. Like, we want to promote natural bodybuilding. Nick Bauer is doing a great job of doing that right here. He's trying to get more people to be involved in natural bodybuilding, because almost all of the talk is about people on steroids. And so if you want to be famous or known or talked about, you almost feel like you have to take steroids. And I don't want people to feel that way. But if we criticize and put down guys who are winning natural shows, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, like Hussein Farhat, just putting them down, then what are people going to do? They're going to say, well, if I compete and look good, people are going to say I look like I'm on steroids anyway, and so what's the point? And if I compete and I don't look good, people are going to say I suck and I shouldn't be on stage. And so it's a catch-22. I do believe that's what it's called. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you wait to train 10 to 20 years before you get up on stage and you compete peeled your first time, and you get up there, people are going to say, oh, steroids. And then if you only compete after training 5 or 10 years and you're not quite as shredded as possibly that you could be, you're at 10%, they're going to say, you're horrible. You don't even belong on stage. Your physique is clearly mid. It looks like you've done push-ups and sit-ups and you competed in the off-season.
I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, this is a reasonable expectation of what you could expect to look like on stage for the first time as a natural athlete.
And so I agree with Nick. This is a realistic expectation of how you could look at your first show. He says this is about how I looked at my first show. Now, I want to comment about Nick. Nick, you're a former bodybuilder. It's time to not be in the off season so much. They have GLPs. They can help you to correct your diet, as I think it's important to be healthy. And when your body fat starts approaching 40%, it's important to not be at 40%. And so let's try to diet a little bit down. Let's perhaps get Coach Greg's cookbook, because people doing videos about bodybuilders should somewhat be healthy. And Nick used to be a competitive bodybuilder that looked almost as good as Arnold's son. And so let's get back onto the healthy eating and do some freaking cardio.
My critique would be obviously condition. I think coming a little bit tighter. Condition in the legs. I think he lost a little bit of detail in the midsection.
Yeah, I mean, you're critiquing his stomach. He's not quite as sharp as he should be. His back is pretty lean. That's probably him spilling over. I don't believe he had a coach. He didn't know what to eat. He probably didn't do the carb up correctly. And so, yeah, he could have been leaner, but it's his first show, and he won, so he did what he needed to do. If you compete and you win, you did it. Like, the point of training and competing is not to try to win, and so if you win, you kind of did the thing, and then the next time, you come in a bit leaner. And so if your first show, you're at 9.8%, the next show you can compete at 9%, the next show after that, maybe 8%. Each show you put on a couple pounds of muscle, maybe 5, and then each show you put on a little bit more muscle, come in a bit leaner, have improvement in your posing, and that's what the sport is all about. It's about getting better.
And if you look at the genetic similarities, honestly, natural teenage Arnold, their arms look, to me, the shape of the peaks and stuff, almost identical.
And so looking at Arnold versus his son right here, Arnold has the thicker quads. He has wider lats, but very similar biceps. And remember, Arnold isn't natural here. This is Arnold not natural against his son, who is natural. And so not even a fair competition.
And, you know, I don't want to ever push or pressure anybody to get on gear or to stop being natural. But I would imagine that if Joe actually did want to pursue bodybuilding as a career or competitively, and he did start taking gear, I would imagine he would start to develop biceps.
And so Nick, he doesn't want to encourage anyone to take steroids, but he says if his son were to take steroids, he'd have arms like him. I know what he's saying, but like to hear it like that, like he's not going to have arms the size of Arnold. Don't think that just because you take steroids, you're going to look like a professional bodybuilder. Just because it's Arnold's son doesn't mean if Arnold's son took steroids, he would look like Arnold. And so would he put on muscle? Of course he would. Would he put on a lot of muscle? Absolutely. But he's not going to be Arnold. His arms aren't going to be as big as Arnold. Steroids, for most people, don't work as well as you people think. Most people think that if they took steroids, you could be a pro bodybuilder. Most people, the truth is, are disappointed from steroids. When you're thinking, no, I've seen all the transformations. You see the top 1% of those transformations. 100 people take steroids. One person out of the 100 has really freaky gains. And you see that video. The ones who had horrible gains, you don't see those videos. Before and after transformation, I took steroids. I trained for 5 years, and you put on 13 pounds of muscle. You don't see that person because why would they show that? And so you're showing the best of the best of the best, almost always pros, people that they look at a steroid and it helps them grow.
I think Arnold is already on gear at this point, but just look at the muscle insertions on the arm from the side.
And so in this most muscular pose, you're going to tell me that Arnold Stone looks bad? Most muscular against his dad. In this pose, it looks like his son actually has better quads than Arnold. Now remember, it's a pose. Arnold is not as lean. He's a bit thicker, a bit more bulky. Arnold's perhaps a little bit younger. But if I'm giving who wins this pose, it's Arnold's son that's taking this pose. It's the conditioning for me. You can't just be thick and big and not conditioned and expect to win. And so to say he was way off in his conditioning, he's leaner than Arnold when Arnold was competing at his first show. And so, who did it best?
This is kind of an unfair comparison for Joe, this side pose here. Because this is Arnold like in his prime, he's on gear. Joe is natural.
He's doing it extremely well. Does he have Arnold's size? Does he have his conditioning at this point? No. Arnold is in his prime at this point. Compared to his son, they have very similar hairstyles. They have facial similarities. And the physiques, they both look good. This is essentially showing you this is juice to the max on the right and this is natural on the left. I certainly hope he continues to stay natural. I hope he doesn't think because people are making videos about me and I don't have enough muscle, I'll show them, I'll take steroids. That means you lose. If you start doing the things, the peer pressure that other people are trying to convince you to do, and you do it, they win. Be yourself, and yourself doesn't include having to use steroids to make other people say nice things about you. It's so really cool to see him do the exact same pose here up on the side with the arm. I can't really copy that. What a great pose, great look. And remember, he did actually win at least his category. Perhaps he didn't win the open class and whatnot, but he looks very good.
And I just wanted to say, Joe, if you're watching this, which you probably are, I'm proud of you. I was really happy to see you do a natural show. I thought that was really commendable, and regardless of what anybody says.
And so glad to see Nick congratulating him, giving him some recognition for doing it natural, for encouraging other people to be natural, to stay natural, and that you don't need steroids to get up on stage. Getting up on stage doesn't mean you need to look like a pro bodybuilder. You can compete just to look your best. Was it the best you've ever looked? And if it is, then that is a win, regardless of what that bar is. And if you think that it has to be sub 10% body fat and 200 pounds of muscle, that isn't true. If you get up on stage and you're your best, you won. Perhaps you didn't necessarily win the competition against others, but you won the battle against yourself. Arnold, tell your son to go get some of the Turk Platinum if you want him to be back better than last time. And be sure to use code Greg.
All right. Let me give you my thoughts on that. I did a video exactly like this way before this. So this is Greg agreeing with me about Ivan bodybuilding. So this is why I'm reacting to this video, because it's kind of crazy, because I know I'm a small channel. I only got, 13 subscribers right now. Nobody's going to give a fuck what I got to say. But he's bigger than Ivan. He's a big YouTuber, especially in the bodybuilding, as everybody knows, who agrees with everything I said. I mean, everything, because I agree with him to the T. Now, I don't promote a lot of the things Greg Doucette does, but, we keep it real here. You know what I'm saying? I'm I'm not a person who's gonna just ride along with somebody because I like them or just hate whatever they gotta say because maybe I dislike some of the things they do. You keep it a buck right here. When you right, you right. When you wrong, you wrong. And facts is facts. But yeah, man, stay away from Ivan bodybuilding. Man, it is just bad. Bad for bodybuilding. As people say, him and Muscle Discord. That's why everybody ain't wrong. They're assholes. They're bad people. Even if they know what they're talking about, they're bad people. And they don't know what they're talking about. They contradict themselves all the time. And I was right about the Nick Walker shit. I was right about Andrew Jack. Nobody's going to give a shit about him winning that. He was going to beat nobody. I said that all ahead of time. So if y'all watch my videos and see my content, y'all going to see I know what I'm talking about. And I'm a little ahead of the curve. And whatever. I don't need these YouTubers to validate me, but they are. They are. But this is a start. But listen, man, this channel's about real shit, uncut, about how I feel and how I see shit. I was 407 pounds. I'm 160 pounds now. That's over 200 pounds lost. And yeah, I can help you with that too. Just keeping it real. So, yo, you know the merch right here, Heavy No More. That's my brand, Heavy No More LLC. We got the merch coming. It's going to be crazy. We fixing the website. You know what I'm saying? We normally did it homegrown, but now we're going to get mainstream and put it out there, and we're going to grow the brand. So, yo, like, share, subscribe, join the crew. Help me on my journey as I help you on yours. So, yo, like I said, we're here to kick the real, keep it true, whether you like it or not. But this is my motto. If you don't like me, I don't like you. If it's fuck me, then it's fuck you too. Bury your fucking dead. Welcome to Heavy No More. I'm your host, Jaffe. Let's fucking get it.